Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Now today I'm not going to be doing a face cam because I'm going to be using my video camera later and I need the space. However, I am going to be today talking through FIFA 21 and my wish list. I'll be having some gameplay in the background from my Norwich career mode, and I just want to apologise to everybody for the fact that I've stopped doing career mode. That is just because I'm really not enjoying the game. I will be switching up my content for now. However, when the gameplay does eventually get fixed and when it becomes enjoyable again, I will go back to making more gameplay. If not, then I guess I'm just going to have to wait until FIFA 21. But when FIFA 21 is released, I will 100% be doing another career mode. So don't unsubscribe from me if you're wanting more career mode. There will be some at some point, but it's just not right now. Right now the gameplay is just too bad for me. I'm not enjoying it, and I think it was definitely coming across in the videos. But anyway, so now I'm going to be going through my wish list of things for FIFA 21 career mode and how they can make it more enjoyable in terms of the mode itself. So the first thing I've got is actually fixed gameplay. I've gone on about it enough. I don't really need to go on about it anymore. The gameplay is really bad. It was good. They had it decent, and then I think it was patch 1.13 that did definitely destroy it for me. That definitely ruined the game, made it very much unplayable, and then since then every update's just been bad since. So first thing that they need to do before they even focus on getting any of these other things in, I would take a FIFA 21 with just fixed gameplay and a couple of minor adjustments. I would take that and I would 100% be playing it back on the channel again. So the first actual item on my list for improvements is having interactive youth teams. So right now the way they've got it set out is you have your youth academy and your first team, and there's not really much else in it. You send somebody out to scout, they'll bring back some players, they'll sit in your youth team for a while, you end up with so many as well, and then that's it. The way it's set up in real life is that at the end of every season you'll have your intake of youth players, which will be for your under-23s and for your under-18s. They'll come in and they'll train throughout the year. They have scholarships. If they had it set up more like that, then it would be better. You could have at the end of every season, or even at the start of every season, you'd have your youth intake come in, which could be still scouted by somebody else rather than you going through and scouting them. But then you would have, say, 21 to 23 players come in for a year, and then you decide at the end of the year whether you want to keep them on as part of your under-23s, under-18s, or even bring them up for your first team. You could have it so players are interchangeable between your under-23s to your under-18s, depending on how good they are. You could have your assistant manager tell you, give you a recommendation for whether you think that they are good enough for the under-23s or under-18s, or for your first team. So they would be moved between them freely. If a player's in your under-18s and he's in good form, he's 17 years old, but he's in really good form, and your assistant manager comes to you and says, I think that they're good enough for the under-18s. There's a player in the under-23s who isn't doing so well, you could drop them into your under-18s. You could then swap them over. So yeah, players would be able to be moved freely however they want, obviously provided that they're within the age limit. So say for example with Norwich, if Norwich struggled with Emi Buendia, if Emi Buendia was struggling, they could have him play for the under-23s. I mean, it's not going to happen, but just as an example, if Norwich had a player from the under-23s, such as Adam Ida, has recently come up and started playing somewhat for the first team, he's been like on the edge of the squad, then obviously he would then become unavailable for the under-23s, and then that's where you have to try to balance out what's best for the under-23s, what's best for the under-18s, and for the first team. It just adds an extra layer onto the game, and I think that it would be so much better if we could do it that way, as opposed to the way they've got it now. So yeah, on to the next one. The next one is better training. So when I say better training, right now, training for me is very overpowered. I was playing it the other day and I managed to train somebody 13 points in a season, like gained at 13 overall, just purely through training. It's not realistic, and for me, they need to tone that down while also making it so we can train the entire team. So in Football Manager and in PES as well, everybody gets trained, but if they can make it harder to gain overall through training, so they gain slower, then that would be so much better for me, because you could train players in their position, or you could train them in individual drills, and then over time they would improve. But that is actually linked into my next one, which is an upgrade to the facilities and the staff. And I say upgrade, I don't know why I've put it as upgrade. We need, and this is actually an old feature from, I think FIFA 11 had it. I think that was the last one that had it. FIFA 11 or FIFA 12. As a manager in real life, you can pick who works with you behind the scenes, and the better they are, the more chances of being successful. If you can pick coaches to come with you, and then that dictates how good or how easy it is for you. So for example, when it comes to training, if you have an attacking coach who's, we'll say it's on a scale of 1 to 10. If you have an attacking coach who's 1 rated, then the players will increase a lot slower, and they'll have a lot less access to different drills than a coach who is, say, 10 out of 10. So if you're a club down in League 2, you would only probably have access to the coaches who are 2, maybe 3 out of 10, whereas if you're in the Premier League, you would have access to the people who are 10 out of 10, or you could go by star rating and have it be like 5 stars. So the better your negotiation rating is, you could have it easier for chance of negotiation. So it would go on your reputation and that as well. So everything would actually work together. It would be a lot better this way, I think, and it would add a lot more depth to it. You would have other stuff outside the usual just playing games that we have right now. So this one kind of links back to all of them, which is better transfer activity and clauses. So right now you don't exactly have very much option. You have a few bonuses with the contracts, you have the length of the contract, which you can't even really negotiate anyway. You have wages, you have transfer fee, and that's pretty much it. Future fee, which doesn't even do anything. So I will go back to another Norwich example. Oh no, actually no, I won't go to a Norwich example. I'll go to a Wolves example, which is Luke Matheson was signed for Wolves in January. He's 16 years old. Now, for me, he had 2 options. They had 2 options of what they could have done with him. They could either have stuck him in their under-23s or loaned him back out. Right now, none of those are an option. So Norwich have signed a lot of players as well, where, say, for example, with Dan Adshead, we signed him from Rochdale as well. We just stuck him in our under-23s. But again, right now, there is no real option for the under-23s. Instead, it's just they sit around doing nothing. Now, if we wanted to loan him out in real life, we could do that. In FIFA, we can't. Like, it's just not an option. That needs to be improved. We definitely need to have that. So if we have the interactive youth teams, then it means that players who can come in, we can either stick them in our under-23s, but then we also need the clause of future of loan back. There's a bunch of other clauses that we need to actually have in, and that we need to have make a difference as well. There's no point in having just the basics where you buy the player, they sit, and then they have to sit in your side for 6 months, wasting their career because you're not even allowed to loan them out once they're in, I don't think. So yeah, for me, there's so much that could be improved. There's so much that they could do, but they just don't. Oh, and it would also have to do with contract negotiation as well. So if you're negotiating a contract for a player, then your negotiation rating would come in handy there. But negotiation rating shouldn't have anything to do with what club you're at, per se. A manager with a 5-star negotiation rating would be down in League 2 would be able to sign players from, say, the Championship and League 1 easier than if it was a 1-star, or stuff like that. So the easier it is, the better your rating, the easier it is to negotiate. That again comes into both the facilities and stuff, and also the transfer activity and clauses. There's no reason why EA can't implement these. This is all stuff which has been on FIFA. I mean, apart from the training covering more than 5 players, I think that's pretty much all of stuff that's actually been in the game at some point. I'm not too sure about the youth teams, the under-23s and the under-18s. But even if they can just fix the gameplay, I will be happy with that. But with FIFA 21 coming on PS5, there is no reason why they can't at least get all of this on the PS5 version. Obviously, I would love them to be able to get it on the PS4 version, but I'm maybe waiting until it comes out on PS5 before I can get that. Maybe having sponsors as well. So, say for example, Stevenage's main sponsor right now is, I think, Burger King. You could have them. So you wouldn't necessarily have them change, because obviously there's the issue of licensing. So they would have to still be on the shirt. However, you could still have like a background sponsor, and even if you have, let's say in the Premier League, you've got the interactive boards that go around. If you can have sponsors going around there, why not? I think personally that would be a great idea. You can have it so that the sponsors are just like the stadium sponsors, so all the banners where right now you've got FIFA 20. Why are you advertising your own game in your own game when you could just use that for sponsorship space, where you at the beginning of the season you select a secondary sponsor, and then that sponsor is on the advertising boards? I don't understand the logic of advertising your own game in your own game as if people haven't got it already. Why not use that space for a secondary sponsor? But yeah, so that's going to be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you have enjoyed the video, and hopefully you've actually got some ideas from that for what stuff you would like to see. If you agree with me, then let me know down in the comments below. If you disagree with me and you think that some of the stuff would be too optimistic, or if you think that they're not optimistic enough, then let me know, and I will see you guys in the next video, hopefully.